In this video, I'm going to share 8 rules for communicating effectively with narcissistic people. So make sure you stick around till the end of the video because you're going to learn a lot from this one. Let's dive right in. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamie M. Joyce. I'm an empowerment life coach specializing in codependency and narcissistic abuse recovery for empaths, scapegoats, and awakening light leaders. If you're new to my channel, a very special welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comments section below. And if you're back, of course, welcome back. Thanks for showing up and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. So let's talk about 8 rules for effective communication with a narcissist. Rule number 1, use their name. When speaking with a narcissist, be sure to use their name. First of all, it's polite. It shows respect and empathy, 2 things the narcissist knows little to nothing about. It also shows a level of emotional intelligence, something else the narcissist does not possess. It shows that you're personable and confident, all of which will throw them off. More than anything though, it levels the playing field and demonstrates that you're not the least bit intimidated by them. So be sure to use their name when speaking with them. It's a subtle tactic, but the impact will be undeniable. Number 2, keep it to the main point. When engaging with someone who has a destructive narcissist personality pattern, you'll want to begin by clearly defining and agreeing on the purpose of the conversation. And then it will be up to you to keep the conversation on track by keeping it to the main point. Narcissists are well known for sucking unsuspecting targets into circular, mind-bending, never-ending conversations that go nowhere fast. And these crazy-making conversations are designed to do just that. Drive you crazy. By using word salad and talking in circles, nothing ever gets resolved, and before you know it, you're defending yourself for being, doing, and saying things you've never actually been, done, or said. As they say, never piss a narcissist off. They'll remember things that never even happened. So when communicating with a destructive narcissist, be prepared to have to bring them back to the main point and keep them there. Number 3, have authentic curiosity. When we approach another individual, any individual, from a place of authentic curiosity and compassion, it sets the tone of the conversation to a more positive one from the outset. You may also learn a thing or two that you weren't already aware of by taking this approach. Now, the reality is, the narcissist isn't going to be able to do this for you. But you can bring this to the table of the conversation or negotiation. And more often than not, you'll find it'll be well worth the effort to do so. And that brings me to rule number 4. Ask them what they think. A good way to begin a conversation with a narcissist is to ask them what they think. First of all, it's wise not to assume that you already know what they're thinking. Second, you give them the floor, space, time, and attention to speak their mind, share their point of view, their thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, as well as be heard. The attention and validation alone will set the tone of the conversation to be more positive, and now you're armed with a ton of information and clarity you may not have had initially. Information is power, especially when dealing with a narcissist. So ask the question and sit back and let them rip. They'll tell you everything you need to know and then some. Much of it will likely be complete and utter nonsense, lies, and deception, and now you know. Now comment below and tell me whether or not you're having difficulty communicating with a destructive narcissist in your life. Let me know in the comments section below. And if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class, there is a link in the description below where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Number 5, healthy limits and boundaries. When communicating with anyone who lands on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, it's important to know upfront and be prepared for the fact that you will have to manage the narcissist and the conversation in order to keep them on track. And in order to do this, you'll have to know how to set healthy limits and boundaries and stick to your guns. For example, no, we're not discussing the mistake I made last year, or how much you dislike my friends and family right now. This conversation is about such and such. If you want to continue the conversation, you'll have to stick to the topic at hand. Or, please lower your voice. If you continue to yell at me and call me names, the conversation will be over. And when they continue to yell and/or call you names, either hang up the phone or leave the room. It's important to follow through on what you say you're going to do without hesitation or backtracking, so they know to take you seriously moving forward. Every time you cave, you lose credibility, so stand your ground. And if they go so far as to follow you around the house, ask them to leave the house or leave the house yourself, letting them know that you will not be back until they've calmed down and are ready and able to have a civil conversation. Period. End of story. This is not a negotiation. Number 6, ask them, how did you arrive at this conclusion? This comes back to having authentic curiosity and compassion, but it's more specific than that. First of all, know that it's perfectly fair and reasonable for one adult to ask another for the specifics of their conclusions and how they arrived at them. In other words, you don't just get to throw a bunch of nonsensical opinions around without actually backing them up with some facts. Asking the question and hearing them out will likely give you all the information you need in order to be able to make whatever decisions you need to make in the spirit of taking good care of yourself. If their conclusions are legitimate, great. If they use this as an opportunity to sling mud, distort the truth, rewrite history to suit their own narrative, etc., again, now you have all the information that you need to decide what's best for yourself moving forward. And approach this one like a lab technician. You're simply gathering data. Once you have the data, you now know all you need to know. Number 7, eliminate distractions. In other words, address anything that is in the way of having a productive conversation that fulfills its designed purpose. If the television is on, turn it off. If you're likely to be interrupted, do what you need to do so you won't be. And on that note, choose your timing wisely, and then assist the narcissist in defining and prioritizing what's important versus what's urgent. And then focus on urgent first, assuring them that what's important will be tackled once what's urgent has been resolved. Don't let them distract you from what's urgent by shifting to other topics that are maybe important. One thing at a time in order of priority until it's resolved. Number 8, always be professional, even when the other person isn't, especially when the other person isn't. And use this technique even in personal conversations and relationships. When communicating with a narcissist, more often than not, it will serve you to leave the emotion out of it and keep it to the business of whatever is being discussed, even if that's the business of life. The thing about approaching all conversations with this mindset is it will be easier for you to remain detached and calm. You'll more easily maintain a certain level of emotional detachment that will insulate you from the narcissist's attempts to attack your character. And the bottom line is this: when dealing with narcissists, it will be up to you to be the adult in the conversation. This is certainly easier said than done, but I can tell you, when you've done your personal healing and recovery work specific to these issues, it gets a whole lot easier. And with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. But don't stop now. I have well over 100 more videos right here on YouTube for you to watch to help you better understand the detrimental effects of narcissistic abuse, and more importantly, learn what you need to do now to heal from the abuse so you can start living your best life in peace, confidence, and freedom. And if you want to go deeper with me, go to TamieMCoaching.com and learn about my unique, tried and true process garnered over decades of experience, and learn how you can become my client.